What is going on, y'all? My name is Gravely, and today we are going to be looking at some of Destiny 1's exotic weapons that most likely will never return in Destiny 2. Before we get into these exotic weapons, I just want to say that it is not impossible that these weapons don't return. I just feel like these are the weapons that have a very low chance of returning. But with that being said, let's get into the video. The first exotic that we have that will not be making a return in Destiny 2 is the Red Death. Now this one definitely sucks to hear for a lot of us because a lot of the community in Destiny 1 really loved Red Death, and even players in Destiny 2 want the gun back. But with Crimson essentially being a hand cannon version of Red Death, I just don't see Red Death returning in Destiny 2. Now don't get me wrong, Red Death returning in Destiny 2 would be absolutely amazing, especially because it was my favorite gun of all time. Whenever I wasn't running Gjallarhorn, I always had Red Death equipped. The ability to heal and get a faster reload after each kill was second to none. But of all of the weapons that I am going to talk about on this list, Red Death probably has one of the lowest chances, if not the lowest chance of returning. It's just really unfortunate and sad that Red Death will most likely never be making a return in Destiny 2, but I get it, they need to cycle in new content and make the game feel fresh, but if Red Death was re-announced in Destiny 2, I feel like it would be pretty welcomed by the community. The next exotic that we have that will not be making a return in Destiny 2 is the ZHALO Supercell. Now the main reason I don't see ZHALO returning in Destiny 2 is kind of the same reason I don't think Red Death will return. Like I said, in Destiny 2, Crimson pretty much replaced Red Death, and it serves really the same purpose that Red Death did in Destiny 1. ZHALO is in pretty much the same predicament that Red Death is in, whereas Risk Runner has pretty much taken over ZHALO's role, and there really isn't any need for it in Destiny 2. But don't get me wrong, it would be extremely cool to have ZHALO back in Destiny 2. But overall, ZHALO probably has one of the smallest chances of returning out of any of these weapons on the list. The next exotic weapon that will not be returning in Destiny 2 is the DREG'S Promise. Now, I may get some disagreements for putting the DREG'S Promise on this list, but just hear me out. So back in Destiny 1, when the House of Wolves DLC dropped, we got 3 new fallen weapons. Those weapons were the Queenbreaker's Bow, the Lord of Wolves, and the DREG'S Promise. Now in Destiny 2, when we got Forsaken, we got the Lord of Wolves and the Queenbreaker's Bow back. However, we did not get the DREG'S Promise. And this is what leads me to believe that it is not coming back. Why would we not get the DREG'S Promise with the 2 other fallen weapons that came out with each other? It really just does not make sense to me unless Bungie didn't plan on adding it to the game. Overall, I really don't have much else to say about DREG'S Promise, but if any of these exotics on this list were to actually come back in Destiny 2, DREG'S Promise would have one of the best chances. The next exotic that will not be making a return in Destiny 2 is the Trespasser. Now, where do I even start with the Trespasser? Well, first of all, let's just start with this. How many people have you heard say, "Man, I really want the Trespasser back"? Chances are you've probably never heard anyone asking for Bungie to bring the Trespasser back. In fact, I forgot the gun even existed in the first place. Another reason I don't think this gun will ever be added into Destiny 2 is it's basically just a knockoff Walmart version of DREG'S Promise. If Bungie was deciding whether to add the Trespasser or the DREG'S Promise into Destiny 2, I guarantee you they would add the DREG'S Promise. Sure, the DREG'S Promise wasn't a great weapon by any means, but it is already fitting in with 2 exotics that are in Destiny 2. The Trespasser really doesn't fit in with any other exotics, and nobody really wants the thing in the first place. But overall, I would say the Trespasser has a very low chance of returning in Destiny 2. The next exotic that will not be making a return in Destiny 2 is the No Land Beyond. Now, I actually have a few reasons as to why this exotic will not return. The first reason is that this gun would basically just be an Arbalest 2.0. Now, I know some of you guys may be confused by me calling the No Land Beyond an Arbalest 2.0, especially because the Arbalest is a linear fusion rifle and the No Land Beyond is a sniper rifle. But basically, what I mean by that is that we all know the Arbalest is in Destiny 2, and it is an absolute terror in PvP, especially competitive PvP. And if the No Land Beyond was added back into Destiny 2, it would kind of do the same thing as an Arbalest, where it's basically a sniper with iron sights. In addition to that, the No Land Beyond takes primary ammo, so all those people using the Arbalist are just going to switch over to No Land Beyond and get 6 more shots with it. That means if it was added in Destiny 2, it would be the only sniper in the game to take primary ammo. Now some of you guys may be seeing the issue here. A sniper that you can basically fire infinite times in PvP is kind of a problem. So for these reasons, I just really don't see the No Land Beyond making a return in Destiny 2. Now if Bungie decided to switch the No Land Beyond to take special ammo, then we are looking at a different conversation. But overall, in regards to the OG Destiny 1 primary ammo No Land Beyond, I don't think it will ever make a return in Destiny 2. Amongst the other exotic weapons on this list, I would say that the primary ammo No Land Beyond has one of the lowest chances of returning. I would say it probably beats out Red Death and ZHALO Supercell, but this thing probably is not coming back. The next exotic weapon that will not be returning in Destiny 2 is the KHVOSTOV. Now just a fun fact, the common version of the KHVOSTOV is in Destiny 2 and you can acquire it just by making a new character and progressing through the storyline. Anyways, the main reason that I have for the KHVOSTOV not returning in Destiny 2 is this gun was really just a meme by Bungie. They kinda just added the exotic KHVOSTOV as a fun little gesture. And I just don't think Bungie will go out of their way to add the KHVOSTOV back into Destiny 2, especially when they're exotics that people want more. But overall, out of all of the exotics on this list, I believe that the KHVOSTOV has one of the higher chances of returning. Now, I still don't think it will return, but I could definitely see Bungie throwing a curveball. Now, the next 2 exotics that will not be returning in Destiny 2 are the Nova Mortis and the ABBADON. I am just going to get started by saying nobody likes the ABBADON or the Nova Mortis. These are by far the 2 least creative exotics I have ever seen in my life. I'm sure anyone in the Destiny community would much rather have an exotic Solar and Void machine gun that weren't reskins of the Thunderlord. But overall, that is all I am going to say about the Nova Mortis and the ABBADON. If it was up to me, these guns would never even have a chance of returning in Destiny 2. But anyways, their real chances of returning in Destiny 2 are very low, especially because most of the community didn't like these guns and they're not very creative. They're literally just reskins of a different exotic. Just imagine if every exotic had a reskin in a different element. That would be the most boring thing of all time. The next exotic that will not be returning in Destiny 2 is the Icebreaker. Now, some of you guys may hate me for saying the Icebreaker won't come back, but just hear me out. The first reason I have for the Icebreaker not returning in Destiny 2 is the fact that it has ammo regen capability. Now, I just want to say that there is not a single weapon in Destiny 2 that is capable of regenerating ammo. That is, unless you are counting the Whisper of the Worm after hitting 3 shots as regenerating ammo. But you guys get the point. Bungie does not like adding weapons with ammo regen capability in their game. Now, I can definitely see why they don't like adding weapons like that to their game. Weapons with ammo regen capability would really hurt the PvP aspect of the game. So having a sniper with infinite ammo, especially in things like trials and competitive PvP, is kind of a problem. And the problem doesn't stop at that, because the person wouldn't even need to be using the Icebreaker. They could literally regen their ammo and then switch to something like the Fellwinter's Lie, and then they have more ammo than everybody else in the game. But overall, I really do like the Icebreaker, and I would be absolutely ecstatic if it came back. However, I just don't see that happening. Now, some of you may have noticed this, but I did put an asterisk next to the Icebreaker. The reason I put that there is because I actually believe the Icebreaker could make a return in Destiny 2. But for that to happen, Bungie will need to change its mind on ammo regenning weapons. I also can't forget to mention that the Icebreaker is one of the most popular exotics of all time. Pretty much the entire community would love to see this weapon back in the game. The next exotic that will not be returning in Destiny 2 is the Invective. The Invective most likely will not be returning in Destiny 2 due to the same reasons the Icebreaker will not be returning. But overall, that is pretty much all I have to say about the Invective, because the Icebreaker pretty much summed it up. Now, the last exotic that will not be making a return to Destiny 2 is the Gjallarhorn. This one definitely kinda sucks to see, especially because the Gjallarhorn has pretty much become a staple of gaming itself. And for anyone that did not play Destiny 1, don't judge the Gjallarhorn off the footage you see in the background. Strike bosses were not pieces of cheese back in Destiny 1, you could not melt them in 3 seconds. But overall, I don't think the Gjallarhorn will ever make a return in Destiny 2. And I'm honestly okay with that because I believe the Gjallarhorn definitely belongs in Destiny 1. But anyways, that is going to wrap up the video. I would greatly appreciate it if you left a like and comment on the video letting me know what you thought. Also, be sure to let me know if I missed any exotics or if you disagree with any of the exotics that I put on the list. Anyways, it's been Gravely, peace.